Because that chapter takes up all of my thoughts. This is reading between the lines. There's like sweatshirts out there that say Valeris on them, and then they say like the city of Starlight or something. I want that. Those are adorable.
Dude, the ones on Etsy, like I've searched those on Etsy. Like anything from Acotar and Etsy is just like golden.
I know. I don't have the money to buy any of these things though.
Oh, me neither. I mean, I still need to buy a bunch of books.
Have you bought Reckless yet?
No! Which I don't know why. I just keep forgetting. So I need to pre-order Reckless. I need to buy Nightbane, which is the second book in Lightlark.
Mhm.
And then there's another book and another from another series that I'm waiting to come out. Actually, two more books. All the books that I want to get are ones that are part of a series that I've already read. So it's like I kind of need to get them.
I feel that. I You still haven't read. I'm like looking at my bookshelf. You haven't read Shatter Me. You haven't read This Woman Kingdom, and you haven't read Red Queen.
No,
You need to read all of those.
I know.
A Court of Mist and Fury. So let's first of all freaking talk about the wedding day, which I always feel like is in A Court of Thorns and Roses, but it's not.
Mhm.
It's at the beginning of Court of Mist and Fury. First of all, her wedding dress, disgusting. Like,
Yeah,
why would any man be okay with their woman wearing that? What the crap?
I don't
He's like,
know.
it's because of its tradition. It's like,
There are men like that out there.
that's so stupid. No, that was the ugliest thing ever. Ever.
No, and
And
it's the fact she didn't even like it either. Like she said
yeah,
she didn't like it, and he was like, "Well, just do it anyways." It's like, what?
and he wasn't there the whole. We should preface Tamlin. We just know who he is. Tamlin wasn't there like the whole time while she was like getting ready and like preparing and planning with whatever her face was, the girl that I hate,
Yeah.
Ionith or whatever her name is. Like, what the heck? And they're like, it's just tradition. It's fine. You'll get over it. It's like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And wait, did I miss a part? The tide happened. Oh no, that happened in a court of mist or a court of thorns and roses, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
Where
that's in
she
Mist
gives.
and Theory.
Right. Okay. But
Yeah.
that's before the wedding, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When she has like all these jewels on, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, like this is terrible. Why are we giving like having people give us money when like we have everything?" And then she goes and gives like the necklace and the earrings or whatever to those. I can't remember what they were, like the water, whatever.
Yeah, something
And
like that.
and then Tamlin got all pissed at her. It's like, bro, your penis must be like the size of a tic tac. Oh my god.
So
You might want
small.
to cut that out. No, keep going. That was hilarious.
No, I feel like the more unhinged, the more funny it is.
Batch. But
But
literally. Go ahead, sorry.
oh, I was just gonna say, mention. I also want to say how her little seat next to his throne is pathetic. It's so pathetic because it was like a stool or something, right? It was like a
Yeah.
tiny ass chair, and he was in this gigantic throne. I'd be like, we're switching if one of us has to sit in this seat.
Yeah. It was just like the whole beginning part, and then it was like, yeah, her planning the wedding, but it wasn't even her planning the wedding. And it was like this wedding that she like you could tell like she didn't even want anymore.
Mhm.
And like Tamlin wasn't there, and Lucian was just like, just do it for Tamlin, like it's fine. And it was just stupid. And then yeah, then the tide happened, and that was dumb. And like, what are just ugh, I hate
And then the
him. That's just
roses.
listen. The woman said no red roses. What are we doing?
She said she was fine with wearing this ugly ass dress, with not having any control over her wedding, with sitting in this tiny ass seat next to this giant throne. She didn't complain about anything. The one thing she asked was no red roses. And what do they do? Put red roses literally everywhere. And she was like, what the fuck?
When will these boys learn? They won't. Stupid.
Actually, I don't even think it was Tamlin. It was that girl. And then Tamlin just sat by and was like, just do whatever she says. It's like, I'd be like, it seems like you want to marry her and not me. Like, is this your guys'
Literally.
wedding?
Literally. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then he was like, here's an art room. Spend the rest of your life in here. It's like, well, she wanted time to do her art, but she didn't want all the time to do her art. Like,
Right. She wanted to do things other than just freaking sitting around and doing nothing. But
mhm.
what she was forced to do. And when she got okay, wait. We need to talk about the wedding before we talk about when she was locked in. Okay.
Yeah.
Was there more that
I
we need to talk about before we get to the wedding?
I don't really
Because the wedding
remember
was pretty
much.
quick.
Yeah. I think it was just planning and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Wedding day. Supposed to be the best day of your life. Supposed to be glorious and amazing. And freaking Tamlin's stupid. They have all these red roses. Ridiculous. And she just kept saying in her mind that she wanted somebody to save her because she didn't want to do it. And I have a theory. She didn't want to do it, one, because she like knew like she just didn't feel comfortable or whatever. But I have a theory that like deep down she knew that Tamlin was not her mate and she wanted to be with somebody else. Like deep down she knew that she was supposed to be maybe with Rhysand, but maybe not even that. Like deep down she just knew she was supposed to be with somebody else. Like that's my
Yeah,
theory.
like it just didn't feel right. Like she knew that there was something better out there.
Yeah, she got the gut feeling of like, okay, like, because she's like, I love him and like she went to save him, whatever. But I think she like hit a point where she's like, oh, this is a bad relationship.
Hmm.
I need to get out of this.
Hmm.
Like
But she
she
didn't know
finally
how
realized,
to. Yeah.
right.
And then our favorite man shows up. I can just remember my reaction. I was like, oh my God, yes. Like I was like freaking out when he showed up.
I have to like read. Oh, we forgot about this part too. Wait. Oh, okay, here we go. Okay. Yeah, so she gets to the end of the aisle and she like doesn't want to go, right? And um okay. I was gonna follow the part right there, right then, and they'd see precisely how ruined I was. Help me, help me, help me, I begged someone, anyone. Begged Lucian, standing in the front row, his metal eye fixed on me. Begged Ian, face serene and patient and lovely within that hood. Save me, please save me, get me out of this, end this. Tamla took a step towards me, concern shading those eyes. I retreated a step. No. Tamlin's mouth tightened. The crowd murmured. Silk streamers laden with globes of gold light twinkled into the life above and around us. My aunt said smoothly, come, bride, and be joined with your true love. Come, bride, and let good triumph at last. Good. I
Ew.
was not good. I know. Good. I was not good. I was nothing in my soul. My eternal soul was damned. I tried to get my treacherous lungs to draw air so I could voice the word no. But I didn't have to say it. Thunder cracked behind me as if two boulders had been hurled against each other. People screamed, falling back, and a few vanishing outright as darkness erupted. I whirled, and through the night, drifting away like smoke on wind, I found Rhysand straightening the lapels of his black jacket. Hello, Pharaoh, darling, he purred. Yes!
Yes.
And then he's like, okay, I wanted to get to his dialogue because it's so funny. So like Tamla basically is like, get out. And then Rise is like, oh, I don't think so. Not when I need to call in my bargain with Farah Darling. And then Oh, was I interrupting? I thought it was over. Rice gave me a smile dripping with venom. He knew through the bond, through whatever magic was between us, he had known I was about to say no. At least Farah seemed to think so. He knew. He's like, that's my girl right there. I'm gonna go save her.
Yeah.
Ow!
I was
Sorry.
I was just so happy to see him finally because just like at the start of Miss and Fury, I was like, when is the bargain gonna come? Like, I don't care about Tamlin. I want to see more of Rhys.
I know. I was like, what the heck? Yeah, this is literally like chapter 6 he shows up. And
Which
then
makes sense, but
and then what's so strange about it though is she's like, okay, so she's like, somebody come and save me, somebody come and save me. So Rysand comes, but then when he comes and like takes her for the bargain, she like the whole time she's like Tamlin, save me, like whatever. It's like, make up your mind, honey. Like what like the most beautiful man on in the world is coming to save you. Like what?
I think, okay, I don't know. Because I have mixed thoughts about this. Because it could either be that she still thought he was the villain because Tamlin and Lucian kept saying, "Oh my God, like he's so horrible," you know. So maybe
Right?
she was scared for her life. But
Right.
then I look back at the end of Acotar, and she literally went to say goodbye to him, and she wasn't scared in the slightest when she went to say goodbye to him. So it's
True.
like, and then all their little moments that they had in
Yeah.
Akatar. So I think she was like being brainwashed afterwards. Like I just
Well, yeah. But
but then
also she says no because of like the threats that Tamlin was making too. Like the kind of like I'll kill you for this or like I'm gonna get her back or whatever. And so I think like
yeah,
like subconsciously she was like trying to like tell him not to start something he can't finish.
100%. Like he's so scared of Reese and I'm like that's so pathetic.
Again, I say his penis is the size of a tic tac.
Yeah, like go grow a
It's
pair
an
and then come
innie.
back.
Sorry, I'm so out of pocket right now. Oh,
No, but then she throws his shoe at, or her shoe at him. And I'm like,
yes.
I think that was the part that made me laugh the most in that whole book. Because I was like, what the? And he just like, he's like, seriously? But he doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah, here's the okay.
Oh,
They're
and
like,
okay, let me just like she felt comfortable enough throwing a shoe at Rhysand, who's like the most powerful female, right? But when it comes to Tamlin, she's kind of like hesitant whenever she talks to him. Whenever like she's like basically like Tamlin has the control, like I'm just gonna sit back and relax, or not relax, but like sit back, you know. And when it comes to Rhysand, she's not even scared to yell at him, fight him, say what's on her mind. And I feel like whenever you see that in books, that's like who they end up with is yeah.
yes. Well, no, because we talked about this a couple episodes ago where I was like, Tamlin and Lucy had like made it okay for her to feel broken, and we're like, yeah, that's what you are, and you are nothing. And Rysand's like, BS. Like, no, like you are way more than you give yourself credit for. And so that's what she felt comfortable to be like, okay, like I'm actually gonna be who I am. Which the fact that she was gonna marry a man that was like, you can't be anything other than like not even a high lady. You can't even be a high lady. What?
You can't even sit in a chair that's equal to mine, even if it doesn't look like a throne. And like he wouldn't
Stupid.
let her have a say in literally anything. Not even her own
Right.
wedding. Nothing with the
Right.
court, nothing with the wedding, not really in the relationship either.
No, she didn't get a choice. It was so manipulative.
Oh, and then I don't know. I feel like this happened like in the beginning of the book too, like it kind of goes on for a little bit. But when she gets up and she's like throwing up in the bathroom and Tamlin just sleeps through it.
Yes.
Like,
And Rhysand like wakes up every night with her because it's through the bond. And yeah, literally the fact that Tamlin's like sleeping through it, it's like you're such an
yeah,
idiot.
but he's not even sleeping through it. Like, he's just ignoring it, is what I think.
Really? You think he's not sleeping?
I feel like he might sleep through some of it, but if it happens every single night, you should
True.
notice that something's wrong.
Right. The fact that your fiance is like throwing her guts up every night and you don't notice, yeah, that's stupid. What an idiot.
Yeah.
This is hilarious. I'm finding your favorite part. Um, I wish to roam home. Rise laughed, finally sauntering toward the other end of the hall, which ended in a veranda open to the stars. I'm willing to accept your thanks at any time, you know, he called to me without looking back. Red exploded in my vision, and I couldn't breathe fast enough, couldn't think above the roar in my head. One heartbeat, I was staring after him, the next, I had my shoe in my hand. I hurled it at him with all my strength, all my considerable immortal strength. I barely saw the silk slipper as it flew through the air, fast as a shooting star, so fast that even the High Lord couldn't detect it as it neared and slammed into his head. Rise whirled, a hand rising to the back of his head, his eyes wide. I already had the other shoe in my hand. Rise's lips pulled back from his teeth. I dare you. Temper. He had to be in some mood today to let his temper show this much. Good, that made two of us.
It's so funny because you know he's not gonna hurt her. Like, you know,
No,
at that moment.
he
Yeah.
just wants to like play along. Like he's like, yeah, let your emotions out. Let's do this. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
he's so willing to like play with her, and it's so funny.
I know.
Anyways, then she like basically just chills in the night court. She's just
Yeah.
there.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. The
She
only
does learn
reason.
how to read though,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but literally she's doing
No, it's so funny because the phrases that Rhysand makes her read is so funny. I can't remember exactly what they are, but they're basically like compliments to Rhysand. At least there was one like that.
And she meets more too.
Hmm.
If he pisses you off, Vera, feel free to shove him over the rail of the nearest balcony. That's what she says. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And Moore knows at this point that they're mates.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, the first one is you look absolutely delicious today, Vera.
And then it's just like stuff like that the whole time.
And then he says the fashion of the night court suits you. And then that's how he shows her how to, because then he's speaking to her mind to mind, and then he's whoa, training her to like put her shields up.
Mhm.
I'm trying
Oh
to
yeah,
find.
because that's another thing is Tamlin was like, you cannot tell anyone that you have powers. Like, you might be Fae, but like no one can know they'll come after you. And then Rhysand is like, well, you need to learn how to use your
Yeah,
powers. Like, what?
right, right. Yeah. And then somewhat okay, I like okay, we just said that like she does nothing the first week, but I like now like looking like skimming, I'm like, oh my gosh, so much happened that first week. She met more. She started learning how to read, she started learning how to write, and then she started learning like how to do her powers or whatever. And then they also told her about the war that was coming and how they needed her help. Like Rhysand like took like no, like he was like, no, we're doing this. Like you're here, like I'm telling you. Like because chapter 7, um, yeah, he starts talking about like the King of Hybern and what's happening there. And oh, this is I saw this earlier. I want to read this. Is this annoying that I keep like reading?
No.
Okay, so basically he's talking about how she has all this power. She says, I'm not a High Lord. No, but you were given life by all seven of us. Your very essence is tied to us, born of us. What if we gave you more than we expected? Again, that gaze raked over me. What if you could stand against us, hold your own, a high lady? There are no high ladies, she says. His brow, oh, not she says, says I say, because it's first person. God. His brows furrowed, but he shook his head. We'll talk about that later too. But yes, Farah, there can be high ladies, and perhaps you aren't one of them. But what if you were something similar? What if you were able to wield the power of seven high lords at once? What if you could blend into darkness, or shapeshift, or freeze over an entire room, an entire army? I just love that he's like, we'll talk about that later.
I know.
Like, I don't care what Tamlin told you. Yes, there can be high ladies, and you will be my high lady. Is basically what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Hmm.
literally like, yeah. Oh yeah, here. Rhysand is the most handsome High Lord. Rhysand is the most delightful High Lord. Rhysand is the most cunning High Lord.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Honestly, I think I would just look forward to going to the night court, one, for the fashion, and two, to see Rhysand. Like, I feel like there was some times where he would disappear to go to the Court of Nightmares or to go to Valeris, and she really didn't really see him that week. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'd be so disappointed. I mean, I was disappointed reading, but if I was Feyre and I only got to see him, it's like once a week or once 1 week a month, right? Or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be like, um, like, where are you?
Where's the handsome High Lord? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Also,
when, yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say when she gets back, and I mean, we discussed this like in many episodes because we always discuss A Court of Mist and Fury. Um, but when we she gets back and Tamlin's like, "Tell us everything," and then he's like, "You're gonna be our spy," and then he was like, "Are you hurt?" Blah 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 blah, and she was like, "Do I look hurt?" Like,
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what? Like, she gets back, and he basically is like, "Okay, I'm gonna kiss you and hug you," but then he's like, "Tell us everything about what you saw. Tell us everybody who you talked to," and it's like, you were gonna marry this chick and you care more about where she went and how she like what like her well-being? Something's not adding up here.
yeah, like I said,
Like
there
what?
there's characters who will give up the woman to save the world or save the world, like for power or whatever. And then there's characters who will give up literally everything to save the woman. Like
Who will give
and
up
Tam
the world to, yeah.
and Tamlin is clearly the first one. Like he wants power, he wants glory, he wants all of that. And then he just wants a side piece, basically. Someone to control.
Literally somebody that he can have sex with.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like just find somebody else. Like what are you doing?
I feel like his one friend would be glad to take up that position. How do you say her name?
Iant
E
or something?
Ian? Yeah,
Yeah.
her. She clearly has a thing for him.
Or you were freaking out about Amarantha or whatever. Just do it because clearly all you want is somebody to have sex with. She was using Rhysand for sex. Like, come on. You guys are made for
Yeah,
each other.
I know. No, because like calls to like. That's what mates are, and that theory that they're mates, it makes sense. But I feel like he knew that he wouldn't be the most powerful in that relationship. I mean, he would be, but like if she had control over him.
Yeah, no.
So I think that's why he was probably more against it, is because she would control him and he wouldn't have the upper hand. That's probably the only
Yeah.
reason why.
Stupid. Anyway.
Anyways.
So yeah, we got back to oh yeah, here's the tide. We already talked about that. Don't mind me literally just like
What?
I forgot that he shattered the study after the tide. I thought that was something different.
I thought that was later in the book.
Wait, I might be confused. Hang on. Let me skim. Oh, I lied. This wasn't Tamlin. This was Farah. When she gets the gift from him of the painting stuff, and she's like, I don't want to paint. I don't want to do that. Like, I just don't, whatever. And um, they have this whole conversation. Okay. Um, Tamlin, I can't live my life with guards around me day and night, and I can't live with that suffocation. Just let me help you. Let me work with you. You've given enough, Farah. I know, but I faced him at his stair, the full power of the High Lord of the Spring Court. I'm harder to kill now. I'm faster, stronger. My family was faster and stronger than you, and they were murdered quite easily. Then marry someone who can put up with this. He blinked slowly. That was a power move, by the way. Then he said, do you not want to marry me then? Of course I do. My voice broke. But you, Tamlin, I'm drowning. And then she shatters everything. Do you remember that? Because she reaches her power and she
Oh
shatters
yeah.
everything. The power move of the fact that she was like, marry somebody else. Girl.
Yeah. And then so that's when he like locks her up, right?
Basically. He's like, I'm gonna try to work on it. I'll try to be better. And he like lets her go outside, but only like to the gardens or something. And it's like, that does literally nothing. You're stupid.
And then she
And then,
starts losing weight.
yeah. Well, because she's throwing up everything. She's not eating. She's not whatever.
I'm pretty sure the second time she or Rhysand comes is like he's standing outside their room, right? And she opens it and he's there.
Hmm.
And he's like, "What is going on? Like, what have they done to you?" Like,
Are you running low on food here? That's what he says. Yeah.
yeah, I love that part.
And then Tamlin, this is good. Tamlin says, you enter bargain right here, right now, and I'll give you anything you want. Anything. My heart stopped dead. Are you out of your mind? Tamlin didn't so much as blink in my direction. Rhysand merely raised an eyebrow. I already have everything I want.
Yeah.
And yeah, then he's basically like, what the hell happened? Like, you were like healthy, you were good when you were here, and then you went home, and then like home. And all this stuff happened. Like, why do you look like you're dying?
Hmm.
Anyways. And then she gets back after that week, and there's like guards everywhere. Tamlin's so stupid. That's
Yeah.
what the podcast name should be instead. Tamlin's stupid. And then
Okay. Is it
and
Valeris?
when Moore comes and saves her,
Oh yeah. Is that
that happens.
is that after Tamlin like destroys the study and almost hurts Feyre? I'm pretty sure that
Yes.
happens, and then she gets totally locked up, and then Moore comes and saves her, and she has that whole like breakdown. And then when Rhysand finds her or sees her, he's like, like what happened? Like I felt like the pain, like you're like you being scared and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I'm like, ah.
But then he takes her to Valeris, and then we get part two. We're only this
Honestly,
far in right now.
honestly, I think everything that happens in Valeris, it's just like so heartwarming. Like she meets
Yeah.
Cassian and Azriel Amren, she already knew more. Like, and it's kind of just like a bonding moment.
Yeah.
Like every day she's learning more and more, and I think it's like a really cute, like, cause she trusts them. Like, I don't think she even once turned on Rhysand to Tamlin, even though Tamlin's like, tell me everything. Like, I don't think she even did.
She told him everything but the like but the about the war and stuff
Yeah.
and like what their plan was because she didn't feel comfortable sharing that or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, and I also like when she asks, or when Rhysand's like, "Oh, I have to run an errand or something. Like, I have to go somewhere," and she's like, "Can I come with?" And he was like, "Sure." Like he's just
Yeah,
like,
he's literally like, yeah,
like, "Yeah, if you want."
yeah. Instead of I'm gonna lock you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Hmm.
Also, her first time that she goes up to the House of Wind, she's like, I'm not letting you fly. Like, I'm not flying with you. And she's like, I'll take the stairs. And he's like, okay, go for it. And she gets like halfway or something. And he's like, are you stupid? And I think she ends up walking. No, does she end up walking the whole way? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Point is like, she's like, you're gonna mess up my hair if we fly or whatever. And he's like,
Hmm.
what?
I think it's funny that she thought she had to dress up for this whole thing
Yes!
because it was like embarrassing to read, but it was also like an eye opener. Like in the spring court with Tamlin, like she was forced to dress up, forced to act on her best
Hmm.
behavior. And then she realized like these people are all family, like, like they don't care.
Yeah.
They're just like vibing, really. Just
Yeah. Yeah. And she like got all dressed up and they're like, don't like Cassian and like ask her to like laugh at her or something.
yeah, especially when she guesses how old Rhysand is. And she says like a number way out of pocket. He's like, and Cassian and Admiral just burst out laughing.
Oh boy. And I literally love how they have things to talk about, but they're like, but Moore's like, I'm hungry, let's eat. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And they're just
And
like,
like
they start eating.
and they don't treat Rhysand like he's the High Lord. It's just like a big group. Like there's no one above anyone else.
Yeah.
And I just love how they all accept Feyre right away.
I know. Oh yeah. Because they're like, do you want to help? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, okay, like my dog is right next to me and he's screaming, sorry. Um, they're going to the bone carver, and then Rysand's like, "It's your choice, like if you want to come or not." And she's like, "Yeah," like, and I love how he like leaves it up to her, not like Tamlin. That's like, "It's my choice
Yeah,
if you're gonna go or not." So we are going through this so slow, but I kind of love it.
I know. Well, there's so much, and this is our favorite book. Like this is the book that we always refer
True.
to, we always talk about.
True. Okay, when they went to the bone carver and it showed up, and it was basically their son in Farrah's, I was like,
Yeah, but they don't know that until later.
but once you read it all, you're like, what?
Yeah,
Like that was wild to me that he showed up to Farah as like what their son would look like, and then in Silver Flames they have a son.
yeah,
Like what?
yeah, that's crazy.
Sarah J. Maas is just like on another
She's
level.
brilliant.
Like how does she think of all these things that all somehow tie together? Like every section of each book like is connected to some other part, and you just like don't even know it. Like
I
it's
know.
ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah. Oh wait, the first time that they go to the bone carver, she couldn't do it, and then because she was like, I can't do this. This is too hard. Whatever. She goes back. Amryn. Yep. Amryn gives her that little stone thing that's like nothing, and she's like, here, like use this. It'll help you get through because I got out, and it was nothing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and it's just like her, like she's like she needed something to take her mind off it, basically.
They're talking about when she's gonna go to the Weaver and get basically her engagement ring. She says, so I'm your huntress and thief. His hands slide down to the backs of my knees as he said with a ruggish grin, you are my salvation, Farah.
Is that after they went to the Court of Nightmares or before?
Before, because he's getting her ready, kneeling before her, putting on her gear to go to the Weaver to get
Okay,
the
yeah.
thing.
I was like, he puts his hands are behind her knees. What? I was like,
No, because he's putting the stuff
okay,
on,
yeah, yeah.
literally kneeling before her.
That's so hot.
So she goes to the Weaver to get the ring, the thing that is valuable to Rhysand.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, she, after she gets it, she like she like yells at him and like tries to kill him basically. And it's hilarious. And basically they like winnow back to Valeris and Cassian and Amryn are like, what the heck, Rise? Like, what were you doing? And he was like, what? Like, I was just making sure she could do it. Like, he's like, what?
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's
I just love that. They're on the verge of, no, she is on the verge of killing him so many times at the beginning that it's
hmm
hilarious.
hmm But yet didn't ever fear him, right? Like
Right.
in this book, like when she's with him, she's never scared of him. She just wants to kill him because she's annoyed,
Right.
basically.
I don't think she ever wanted to, she wasn't ever afraid of him in the first book either.
No, like she was told to be afraid of him, and so I think that kind of got in her mind a little bit, but I don't think she was ever like fully like, oh my God, I'm gonna die when she was around him.
Yeah. So then they go to the human lands. They go to her house. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You're like, what? All you care about is chapter 50.
No,
You never
there's specific spots with Feyre and Rhysand that I remember, like when they go to the Court of Nightmares and she throws this shoe at him, 54, 55, like specific places, but everything else, I'm like, I need a refresher.
heard it. Mm-hmm.
But this is when Cassian and Nesta meet, and then they're like they don't like each other. They're like annoyed with each other. Like they fight back and forth already. And I was like,
Uh-huh.
interesting.
Yeah, they're already like against each other or whatever. And
hmm
wasn't it Cassian too who basically told Nesta to like calm down when how she was like reacting to Farah because he's like, she saved like all of us. Like you need to relax.
Yeah. I also love how quickly all of them like became her friends, especially Cassian and
Yeah.
Azriel. Like they became her friends so fast, took her side so fast with everything. And I'm like, I love
Hmm.
that bond. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. It was cute. Oh my gosh. And then when they're outside training, like at her
oh
house,
yeah.
that was hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
That happened. She's like, I'm freezing my ass off because of you. This is stupid. Anyways, and then she almost gets captured by the Atar or whatever it's called while she's practicing or training or whatever. So that happened. And the point was because Rysand used her as bait, basically. He was like, I knew that somebody would come and get you as soon as they left you. And they did. And she was like, don't you ever use me as bait again. And he was like, okay, sorry, my bad.
He's
I love he
so
was like, he was like, oh. Oh boy.
God. And the fact that he listens to her like more than anyone else, he's like, you know.
Yeah. I also don't like that she, well, this is the part two where she was so mad. And he is like, let's go home or something. And she's like, Valeris isn't my home. I was like,
Yeah.
But Valeris is my home. Like it's your home.
Hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, and isn't that when they go out to the restaurant too, like in this book, and she goes on, well, like he gives her a tour of Valeris, and then they go to that restaurant, and she was like, "This is the music I heard in my head," and he was like, "That's 'cause I, you know, projected that into your mind." I was like, oh
Oh my gosh. Sorry. When just their little moments. Like so when he was gone, right? And he like left like the paper and pen for her. Do you remember that?
my God.
Okay. On it, Rhysand had written, I might be a shameless flirt, but at least I don't have a horrible temper. You should come tend to my wounds from our squabble in the snow. I'm bruised all over thanks to you. Go lick your wounds and leave me be. The paper vanished. It was gone for a while, far longer than it should have taken to write the few words that appeared on the paper when it returned. I'd much rather have you lick my wounds for me. My heart pounded faster and faster. A strange sort of rush went through my veins. Lick you where exactly? The paper vanished before I even completed the final part. His reply was a long time coming. Then, wherever you want to lick me, Farah. I'd like to start with everywhere, but I can choose if necessary. I wrote back. Let's hope my licking is better than yours. I remember how horrible you were at it under the mountain. That's hilarious. Okay.
That's the kind of banter that I like to see.
Yup. I am here for it.
The flirting banter is top tier.
It is amazing.
I think that has to be a trope. I don't know if that's a trope, but if it's a trope, it has to be in every one of my book that I read.
Yup. Then they went to the summer court. I thought that they went to a court of nightmares before they went to the summer court, but I guess not.
I couldn't remember. But then Cassian wanted to go, and Rhysand's like, "Hell no!"
No, yeah, he's like, no. But
because
also
he,
when they, sorry, what?
because he like destroyed a building.
Yeah, yeah, he's like, no, you are not allowed. Oh my gosh. Well, and then when they're there, remember, like they were all trying to get like information from people, and like so Pharaoh was like flirting with Tarquin, the High Lord there, and then like Rhysand was flirting with somebody else, and they were so pissed at each other because they're like, "Why are you doing that?" And it's like, "Would you just confess your feelings?"
No, it was so funny because she was like, "Oh, maybe I'll flirt with him," and Rhysand's like, "Do it," and then she
Yeah.
does, and he's just like, like so
So
mad.
they're like, "Go for it, do it," but then they get pissed at each other because they do. It's like, anyways. So they get the book in the summer court, right?
Mhm. That part was so tense. I remember reading that and I was like, oh my God, get out before you die. Oh my God.
I know because like the water was gonna crash into them and
Yeah.
like all that was gonna happen.
And Reese was so, no, it was so funny because when Amryn and Farah got out alive, barely, Reese is like, what the fuck? Like, why did you guys set up all the alarms? And they're like, we all just died. And so
I
shut
know.
the fuck up.
And he's like, really, you guys, you made all this work for me. And they're like, we almost
They're
just
like,
drowned.
they're like gasping for air and they're like, what?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Rise waved a lazy hand. By all means, Tarquin, spend the day with my lady.
The Court of Nightmares next. I love this scene for so
No!
many reasons. What?
Before that, before the Court of Nightmares, is when he had his dream.
Wait, he had a nightmare?
Uh huh.
And then she went, I on his knees. And that's what she
No, because remember, he's like kneeling or whatever, and she's like, I want to paint that. Like,
Yeah.
what did she call him?
This is what I'm saying about the nightmare trope, bro. Ugh, perfection.
I normally keep it contained to my room. I'm sorry it woke you. I fisted my hands in my lap to keep from touching him. How often does it happen? Rye's violet eyes met mine, and I knew the answer before he said, as often as you. I swallowed hard. What did you dream of tonight? He shook his head, looking toward the window to where snow had dusted the nearby rooftops. There are memories from under the mountain, Farah, the best I've left unshared, even with you. He shared enough horrific things with me that they had to be beyond nightmares then. But I put my hand on his elbow, naked body and all. When you want to talk, let me know. I won't tell the others. I made to sliver off the bed, but he grabbed my hand, keeping it against his arm. Thank you. I studied the hand, the ravaged face. Such pain lingered there in exhaustion, the face he never let anyone see. I pushed up onto my knees and kissed his cheek, his skin warm and soft beneath my mouth. It was over before it started, but how many nights had I wanted someone to do the same for me? His eyes were a bit wide as I pulled away, and he didn't stop me as I eased off the bed. I almost I was almost out the door when I turned back to him. Rise knelt, wings drooping across the white sheets, head bowed, his tattoos stark against his golden skin, a dark fallen prince. Why did he say? Why did he ask her to stay?
I don't know, because he was probably trying to like let her decide because that's what he's always been doing because he knows everything. And yeah, I don't know.
Anyways,
But
then they go back, and the whole thing happens with the queens, and that was
oh yeah.
stupid. Where's the court of
Yeah,
nightmares?
should we just skip to that part? 'Cause
I
I
got
want to
it.
talk.
I
Okay.
found it.
Okay. I have so many reasons why I love this one so much. First of all, the power that all of them had walking in there. And Moore's and Feyre's outfits. I've mentioned this so many times. I'm gonna mention it again. Such a power move. They're like, I am hotter than all of these people in here. Like, they don't even stand a chance. And Moore's doing it because she's like, yeah, this is my parents, but I'm better than them. Like, their life is so small compared to mine. And Feyre's just doing it, I mean, for show. And I feel like she needed to feel that power. Like she's been gaining confidence, I feel like, throughout this whole thing. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that outfit really, I mean, if I was wearing that outfit, I'd be like, yeah, I'm above everyone.
Yup. Yes.
So that whole thing, I feel like the power is one of my favorites. And then I want to talk about oh, how he let her wait, no, that was a different part. So he sits on the throne and then she sits on and I love how he talked to her about it beforehand and told her everything. And he was like, if you don't want to do this, if you feel uncomfortable, just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my God. Like he just keeps giving it's her choice, which it should be always. But like
Yeah.
compared to Tamlin, like Tamlin would never do that.
Well, and she was like, I was aware of the part that I had to play. Like, I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
And
reading it makes me want to blush a little bit.
yeah, so everything that he did, like like when he put his hands on her and like she was basically turned on by it. That's what I'm gonna say, like her body was reacting to it. And he whispered saying it's normal, like it's okay, it's just your body reacting to it, whatever. And I saw this thing that said on TikTok that was like, it's so heartbreaking to see that scene when you think about it, how like all those years he was with Amarantha, like he probably had to tell himself that over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it was like just his body reacting to it. Like he didn't want it. Like it was so bad. And every time I think about that, I literally get so sad. I'm like, oh my God, because imagine how many times he had to tell himself that and make himself believe like, yeah, it's just so sad. I think that's one of the saddest scenes in Acotar is just like that connection between Acotar and A Court of Mist and Fury.
But then they have like the fight after. Do you remember this? I'm reading it. It makes me want to cry.
No, I don't.
Okay, so that they're winnowing back, right? And he's like, "I'm sorry." And she was like, "What do you have to be sorry for?" Blah blah blah. And he said, "I shouldn't have let you go. Let you see that part of us, of me." And she's like, "I'm fine, whatever." And she basically is like, "Please don't start being like that. Like, please don't start hiding yourself from me like Tamlin did." And he's like, "I will never lock you up, force you to stay behind. But when he threatened you tonight, because remember, Moore's dad threatened her. Do you remember that?
Oh
And
yeah.
he snapped his arm basically.
Hmm.
Um, when he called you, because remember he called her whore. That's what they called him for 50 years. They hissed it. I listened to Lucien spit the words in his face. Rise released a jagged breath. It's hard to shut down my instincts. And she's basically like, control yourself better. Like, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And he says, I will kill anyone who harms you. I will kill them and take a damn long time doing it. Go ahead, hate me, despise me for it. You are my friend, I said. My voice broke at the word. I hated the tears that slipped from my face. I didn't even know why I was crying. Perhaps it was the fact that felt it had felt real on that throne with him, even for a moment, and it likely hadn't been, not for him. You're my friend, and I understand that you're a high lord. I understand that you will defend your true court and punish threats against it, but I can't. I don't want you to stop telling me things, inviting me to do things because of the threats against me. I'm not him. Rise breathed, I never will be. Act like him. I will never be him. Act like him. He locked you up and let you wither and die. He tried, I say. Stop comparing. Stop comparing me to him.
Yeah.
I love when the insecurities comes out from the males because you know it's real. You know?
I just love in any book when they have those communication moments, when they're so raw with each other. I just
Mm-hmm.
love that so much in books because it's like the build up, like everything, like obviously they're attracted to each other. Obviously they need to get something off their chest and then they finally actually communicate and I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Yes. And it was in this one too, where she sent this was a long time ago, and we didn't say this. When she sent the letter to Tamlin, it was basically like, I'm not coming back.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is like where I'm supposed to be. Like, I'm not going back. I was
Hmm.
like, go girl,
Yeah.
go. Anyways.
Hmm.
So
So,
then, oh, go ahead.
well, I'm just trying to remember what happens next because I know they were flying somewhere, or is that later in the book?
They went to the Illyrian camps,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and then when they're out there, then he goes to train with Farah. Rhysand and Farah go to train, and when they do, Lucien is there with people to try to get her to come back.
Oh yeah, that's right. And they
And
corner her basically.
uh-huh, yeah. And Rhysand's like, "Are you joking me?
Yeah.
Like, really?" But then when they're on, wait, then
What?
they go to the inn. I forgot about that.
Oh my God! I forgot about what? Oh my God!
So then they do that. He, she wants a distraction.
But he's like, this bed's too small.
He's like, we have to like be like cuddling because like it's cold.
It's
Come
cold.
on, really?
I'd be like, yeah, I'm on the verge of hyperthermia. You better come closer. I think it's gonna be a couple days before apologize. You doesn't have to stay like this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so then that happens. And then they're flying back, remember? And then he gets shot.
Yep, this
And
is what I was
she
thinking of. Because this is the when she finds out.
she goes to the surreal to get surreal? I don't know what it's called. To get answers, right?
Yeah, because
And
it was like a poison or something on the arrow or something like that. Because she goes and saves him, brings him to a cave or something, and then she goes to looking for answers of how to save him because I think he was poisoned with whatever he was shot with. And
oh my
then
gosh.
that's what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just finding this. So then, but she's like distracting him when he's hurt, and she was telling him about, did you know that one summer when I was 17, Elaine bought me some paint. We had just enough to spend on extra things, and she bought me a nest of presents. She said I painted little decorations in our cottage, and that's when she says, I painted the night sky. I painted stars and the moon and the clouds and just endless dark sky. I never knew why. I rarely went outside at night. Usually I was so tired from hunting that I just wanted to sleep. But I wonder if some part of me knew what was waiting for me, that I would never be a gentle grower of things or someone who burned like fire, that I would be quiet and enduring and as faceted as the night, that I would have beauty for those who knew where to look, and if people didn't bother to look but to only fear it, then I didn't particularly care for them anyway. I wonder if even in my despair and hopelessness, I was never truly alone. I wonder if I was looking for this place, looking for you all. And then before he passes out because he's in so much pain, she just goes, or he says, I was looking for you too.
Aw. And then he finds the surreal.
Yes.
That's when she finds out they're mates. And then she finds out Rhys was the High Lord that the surreal said to stay with. Because in Acotar, the surreal's like, stay with the High Lord. And she's like, it's definitely Tamlin. And I love seeing memes about that because there's like, no.
The surreal stained teeth clacked against each other. If you wish to speed your mate's healing in addition to your blood, a pink flowered weed sprouts by the river. Make him chew it. I fired my arrow at the snare before I finished hearing his words. The trap sprang free and the words clicked through me. Mate. What did you say? The surreal rose to its full height, towering over me from across the clearing. I had not realized that despite the bone, it was muscled, powerful. If you wish to, you didn't know then. Say it. I gritted out. The High Lord of the Night Court is your mate. And then she gets mad.
I know. She goes back and he's literally still in so much pain. Like she heals him, but he wakes up and he's like so disoriented and still in so much pain. And she was like, starts yelling at him. And he's like, what the fuck?
I know. It's like, are you really like calm down? Yeah.
He was literally just on death's bed and and then he gets like better a little bit. And then she was like, we're mates. Why didn't you tell me? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, girl, why are you mad? Your mate is literally the most powerful fae and the hottest.
I know.
Like,
If it was me, I'd be like, thank God.
I would have a whole celebration. I'd be like, oh my God, I'm so happy right now.
I would feel so good about myself too. I'd be
I
like,
feel like he's stuck
dang.
with me. I can say and do whatever. I was just gonna say it's funny that she was mad that he didn't tell her because he wanted their bond, like he wanted her to love him for like without the mating bond.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just wanted their love to grow naturally. Meanwhile, at the end, when Lucian says Elaine is his mate, like it's like the opposite tactic and it still doesn't work. And it's interesting. It's like, well, how do you actually tell someone they're your mate? Like both you tried both things and both things didn't work as planned.
No, no, no. Yeah. So then she like winnows them back, or like she makes him winnow them back to the Illyrian camp, and basically like leaves him in the dirt and like goes to Moore and is like, take me somewhere away, far away from here where
Hmm.
he won't know. And it's like,
Yeah.
okay, listen, I get it. She's mad because he like lied to her basically, or just she did. Okay, it's not even lying. He just didn't tell her the full truth, but she's so
Hmm.
butthurt about it when she has no reason to be so butthurt about it.
Yeah, I don't know why she wouldn't. Like, obviously, I'd be a little annoyed. I'd be like, you knew this whole time. But I also wouldn't lock myself in a cabin for that long.
Right. No, it's stupid, but she needed some time to reflect.
I guess it's the healthy thing to do. Think it through. I wouldn't think it through. I'd
I
be
won't
like,
either.
okay,
Yeah,
this is
literally, I'd
fun.
be like, when are we doing this?
Yeah. Are you
Anyway,
coming to the cabin with me right now?
yeah, are we doing this? Yeah, so then she she is there, she paints everything. 5 days passed and I painted every room in the cottage. Moore had winnowed in extra paint before she left, along with more food than I could ever possibly eat. But after 5 days, I was sick of my own thoughts for company, sick of waiting, sick of thawing, dripping snow. Thankfully, Moore returned that night, banging on the door, thundering and impatient. I'd taken a bath an hour before, scrubbing off the paint in places I hadn't even known it was possible to smear it, and my hair was still drying as I flung open the door to a cool blast of air. But Moore wasn't leaning against the threshold. That's how chapter 53 ends, and I was like, oh,
I was so excited when I got to that part because I knew 54 and 55. Like I saw on TikTok, people were like, "Oh my God, this chapter," but I didn't know anything of what the chapter was. They were just like, "Oh, it's like," they just said like, "You need to get to that chapter." Like that's all everyone ever talks about when they talk about Acotar.
yeah,
So I was
I
like, "Oh my God."
I knew. I knew. And then yeah, he walks in, he's like, you painted us, like you painted like whatever. That was adorable.
Yeah.
And then he goes through the whole history lesson of everything.
Yeah. And we find out that he's literally been in love with her this whole time. And she basically, him thinking about her basically got him through the last few years of Amarantha. Like he was like, I knew there was something out there.
I'm reading it. Not the whole thing, obviously.
Oh, I was
I'm
like, what?
not gonna read the whole thing, but I'm gonna read the important parts.
Okay.
Um, 3 years ago, he said quietly, I began to have these dreams. At first, they were glimpses, as if I were staring through somebody else's eyes. A crackling hearth in a dark home, a bale of hay in a barn, a warren of rabbits. The images were foggy, like looking through cloudy glass. They were brief, a flash here and there, every few months. I thought nothing of them until one of the images was a hand, this beautiful human hand, holding a brush, painting flowers on a table. And that time I pushed the thought back of the night sky, of the image that brought me joy when I needed it most. Open night sky, stars and the moon. I didn't even know, I didn't know if it was received, but I tried anyway. Those dreams, the flashes of a person, that woman, I treasured them. They were a reminder that there was some peace out there in the world, some light, that there was a place and a person who had enough safety to paint flowers on a table. They went on for years, until a year ago, I was sleeping next to Amarantha and I jolted awake from this dream that was clearer and brighter, like the fog had been wiped away. You were dreaming. I was in your dream, watching you as you had a nightmare about some women slitting your throat while you being chased by the bow. I couldn't reach you, speak to you, but you were seeing our kind. And I realized that the fog had probably been the wall and that you were now in Priathin. Is that what it's called? And he was like, you got to Kellenamai or whatever it was, and he was like, I knew it was you. There you are. I've been
There you
looking for
are. I've been
you.
looking for you.
And he was like, you had no idea who I was.
What?
Wow, it's so long. It's just like he
Yeah,
just
I
keeps
know.
talking.
But you were like, I'm gonna read it. I was like, all of it.
Okay. But then final trial came, and when she started torturing you, something snapped in a way I couldn't explain. Only that seeing you bleeding and screaming undid me. It broke me at last, and I knew as I picked up that knife to kill her, I knew right then what you were. I knew that you were my mate and you were in love with another male and had destroyed yourself to save him, and that I didn't care. If you were going to die, I was going to die with you. I couldn't stop thinking it over and over as you screamed as you tried to kill her. As I tried to kill her. You were my mate. But then she snapped your neck. Tears rolled down his face, and I felt you die, he whispered. And this beautiful, wonderful thing that came into my life, this gift from the cauldron, it was gone. In my desperation, I clung to that bond, not to the bargain. The bargain was nothing, but I grabbed to the bond between us and tugged. I willed you to hold on, to stay with me, because if we could get free, if we could get back, then all seven of us were there. We could bring you back. And I didn't care if I had to slice into all their minds to do it. I'd make them save you.
Yeah,
I was like crying reading this.
same. I was like, oh, no. I think that is probably the best love confession ever in anything. Even though it wasn't a full-on love confession, like knowing everything, it's like the best thing you could say, I feel like.
I would have killed him if he'd been there, but I broke some very, very fundamental rules in taking you away. Amarin said if I got to admit that you were mates, if I got you to admit that we were mates, it would keep any trouble from our door, but I couldn't force the bond on you. I couldn't try to seduce you into accepting the bond either, even if it gave Tamlin license to wage war on me. You had been through so much already, I didn't want you to think that everything I did was to win you, just to keep my land safe. But I couldn't stop being around you and loving you and wanting you. I still can't stay away. And then she's like, "You love me?" Rise nodded. I wondered if love was too weak of a word for what he felt, what he'd done for me, what I felt for him. I set down the bowl before him, then eat. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then chapter 55 is just them accepting the mating bond. We don't need to get into it, but I highly recommend everyone reads it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just want to mention that when they get back to the camp and Cassian makes that joke
Yes.
and Rhysand almost kills him. And I don't remember who said it, but someone's like, Cassian, you better not.
Hang on, I need to
Like,
get to it because that's hilarious.
it's so funny. I love Cassian.
We just appeared in the mud outside the little house when Cassian drawled from behind us. Well, it's about time. The savage, wild snarl that ripped out of Bryce was like nothing I'd ever heard, and I gripped his arm as he whirled on Cassian, and he said, "Hard ride." And then he says, and then Farrah says, when he bashes your teeth in, Cassian, don't come crying to me. I'm not saying this one out loud. Right?
That's the part I was talking about. Oh, fuck
Oh my goodness. Anyways, and
yeah.
then
Anyways,
they go to fight the King of Hybern, and they get there, and her sisters are there, and they act like the mating bond is broken.
that part I
What?
was so stressed out because I was like, there's no way. But then I was like, oh my God, what if there is? And
I
then,
know.
oh my God, I went through so many emotions in those last few chapters.
I know because Nesta and Elaine go into the cauldron, and Cassian's like freaking out because Nesta went into the cauldron. Lucian's freaking out because Elaine went into the cauldron, and Feyre and Rhysand are like basically accepting the fact that this is happening, like the mating bond broke or whatever, and like Tamlin's there and betrayed all of them, and it was like
Yeah.
you
And then,
little
yeah, and then Feyre's like, oh my God, Rhysand tricked me. Like, what the
yeah
heck? But I saw this TikTok that was like, it makes sense Tamlin would believe that it was all a ruse because he watched Feyre or Rhysand drug Feyre the whole like all of Akatar with that punch. And I was like, oh, that's so valid.
That is, yeah, facts. Okay. Yes. Yeah. But I
Mm.
was literally like on the verge of tears because I thought that the mating bond was broken, whatever. And then the book ends like this. We hit the sweeping marble stairs to the front doors of the manor, and so Tamlin unwittingly led the High Lady of the Night Court into the heart of his territory.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
literally? What?
Then I was like, oh, thank God.
I was
Like,
like, I need the third book now.
yeah. And I only had the two at the on hand, and I was like,
That's
I need
right.
you to bring me the third one.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I was like,
literally.
I didn't want to watch more of Feyre in the Spring Court though. Like I didn't want to watch more of her and Tamlin and A Court of Winds and Ruin. So I was like, I hope that gets solved really quickly.
Yeah, but it didn't. I feel like we went through the end of that really fast.
I know, but there was really nothing. Like we
Well, there
covered what was
was.
based. I just want to say that like the way Cassian reacted to Nesta being put in the cauldron, I was like, that's interesting. That is very
Which is
interesting.
so funny because I didn't care. You're
Well,
the
I know
person
you
when
didn't
you
care.
read books, you're like, oh, that could subtly mean something because you loved Cassian. And I was like, I don't care. I don't like Nesta. She's a crybaby. She's mean. Like, I don't care.
Well, so when they first met and they were kind of like going back and forth at each other, I was like, okay, I think something might happen here. But I was like, but she's human and he's Fae, so I was like, I don't know, but I was like, maybe. And then when she was put in the cauldron, he was freaking out. And it was because at first I was like, it's because he made the promise to like protect Elaine or protect her or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And so he was like, I'll do everything in my power to protect like you guys or whatever. And so at first I thought that, but then looking back at it, I'm like, that was because he knew. Do you think that was the moment he knew that Nesta, spoiler for Silver Flames, but that Nesta was his mate? Because that's when Rhysand realized Feyre was his, was when she was dying.
I feel like, I mean, yeah, doesn't he talk about that in Silver Flames? Or isn't that mentioned in Silver Flames?
It probably is.
Or it could have been when she was killing the King of Hybern. Or like when they were
Yeah.
doing that. Do you remember? Because they were both dying.
Yeah.
And they were both like trying to fight against the evil, which is in A Court of Wings and Ruin, which we'll talk about.
Mhm.
But
But
yeah, I
Cassian,
think
he like they did something to him. Was it something with his wings or something? I can't remember, but there was something that they did to him that was like really bad. That it was like really painful for him. I can't remember what it was though.
in one of the books, I can't remember which one, it was either Crescent City or it was Akatar, their wings got cut off.
That was Crescent City.
Right, because that was Hunt when his wings
Hmm.
got cut off.
Hmm.
I forgot about that because they were like on display. That's right.
Yeah. But
Maybe
anyways,
I apparently need to read Wings and Ruin before we talk about it.
yeah. I want to get all of the Sarah J. Maas books eventually, but that's going to be on a later list because there's so many of them and the sets are
Yeah,
like expensive and I have a bunch of other books I want to get to.
I know. I all of my Throne of Glass books are gone right now, and I feel like my bookshelf is empty. And like the fourth wing and whatever, I'm like my bookshelf's so empty,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
it's fine.
Anyways,
Anyways. Oh, I okay. Did you think it was weird that Lucian just like blurted out that Elaine was his mate? I was like, ooh, I feel like you could have handled that a little bit better.
I didn't really like
because
him anyway in the first place. I was like, dude, that's not the way to go
I
about it.
yeah, I liked Lucy and like not as much as Rhysand and Cassian and Ezreal, obviously, but I did like him. But I was like, her life just got turned upside down, and you just blurted out that she's her your mate when mates that don't even exist in the human world. Like, I feel like he could
Right.
have went about that a different way, and I feel like because he blurted that out, that she was so distant from him. Like, I feel like if he took like the way Rhysand did and just got to know her and stuff, and then revealed and let her like get adjusted to life and stuff, it would have been different.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So, what
But
is
isn't it interesting when people are like, when people like think that like Elaine and Tamlin will get together are mates or whatever? It's like, no, like Lucian's, like Elaine is Lucian's mate. Like they are
Yeah, but she made the weird comment about a heart, like a heart in stone or a heart of stone or something like that. And he was like, that I haven't heard that. And there was just like weird things she said that like Lucian didn't understand and it wasn't like related to Lucian, but like people think it's related to Tamlin. So I'm so confused what's gonna happen there, but I just don't want her with Azrael. That's my final request is I don't want her with Azrael.
But can people have multiple mates? That's my question. Like, because if she's technically Lucian's mate, can she be with Tamlin as his mate or not? No.
But then again, if you look at Throne of Glass and the end of Empire of Storms,
That was
like
fake.
I know, but I'm saying like it can be messed with. Like so many things could like so many things could be like messed with, changed, like whatever.
But
I just
who
feel
cares
like
that much
any
about Elaine and Tamlin to mess with their mating
maybe
bond?
Amarantha.
But she wanted Tamlin.
Yeah, so maybe she made Elaine be with Lucian before everything happened because she could like figure it out or something. I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like anything can I feel like anything can happen.
True. Didn't I send you one of the unhinged conspiracy theories? Did you watch that one? That more this whole time? Like the one about more?
Yeah. Yeah. Which I would love if she took control of the Court of Nightmares from her dad. I because she was like Rhysand would just like if I killed him, Rhysand would even bat an eye. He'd probably celebrate it. Like so I want that theory to be true. But her being the ultimate bad guy, I don't really want to be true.
I mean, I don't
I
see
want
that part being true,
yeah,
but her taking over the Corridor Nightmares, I can see happening.
I could see that.
Anyways, I don't remember. There was like some random like thought about the mating situation with Tamlin and his dad and Rysand and like all that.
Yeah, I feel like we are definitely gonna be like something's gonna be more revealed when it comes to mating bonds and everything like that in the next book.
Which when
Because
is that coming out?
I don't know, but because there's so many different ideas of what could happen with Elaine and Azriel and Lucian and Tamlin, like all of them, and even Gwen is in those too. Like since
Yeah,
there's so many, like I just feel like she has to make something that would make sense. That
yeah,
would like because of all the random comments Elaine makes and I don't know.
yeah. Okay. Would you rather? It
Next.
has to do with Court of Mist and Fury. Oh, you could do like, would you rather like go to the summer court? Like out of the things that like Feyre did, would you rather go to the summer court, go to the bone carver, or go to the weaver?
The
That's
summer.
funny.
Yeah,
What?
the summer court.
That
have
was like
these.
the hardest out of all of them.
But she like kind of, the banter with her and Rhys back and forth is funny.
But they almost died.
They almost, yeah.
You want to go into that like
Actually,
trope thing?
yeah, maybe the bone carver, because he can't actually do any harm
Because he's in the
at that
prison.
at that moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably the bone
What do
carver.
you mean at that moment?
Well, because he is a powerful person or thing when he gets out of prison.
Yeah, don't they break the prison walls or something? Or doesn't the prison break open or something?
Yeah, well, I
Or am
can't
I
remember
mixing up my
exactly.
books?
I think you might be mixing up your books because that happens in.
No, because they were talking about the prison in Crescent City, and it's the same prison, I swear to goodness, in Akatar. Do you remember that? When they're going through the bottom of the castle or whatever, and they're going
Isn't
through?
that in Throne of Glass?
No. No, they're at the end of they get stuck down in the thing. It's her, Nesta, I think, and Azriel and whatever, and Ruin and whoever is trying to
Oh
come
yeah.
after her. And they're going through, and I'm pretty sure they like go to the base of the prison. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the same prison. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing because don't they find all the things? Because remember, like in this one and Akatar, they have like the harp and the mask or whatever. But then
Hmm.
in Crescent City, they find the third thing, which I don't remember what it was.
Oh yeah.
And it was at the base of the prison, which is the same prison that is in Akatar. See, they're all interconnected.
Yeah, they definitely are. Um,
I just went on such a long ramble there. My
I don't
bad.
remember. I don't think the prison in Akatar gets like I don't think gets broken or anything. But it does it?
No, because people they come out and fight for them against the war, remember? That's why Nesta
Yeah.
needs to get the mask or whatever.
Yeah, because they let the bone carver out and then they get the
Yeah,
weaver and then they
yep.
get that one thing that Cassian is deathly afraid of.
Yes, yes, that's right, because it lives at the bottom of the library.
I
Yep.
love seeing memes about that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we
Full
got there.
circle.
There's so
Okay.
many bugs.
I have to answer and then I have to go. Not that I'd want to do the Weaver because that's creepy, but then I get my own engagement ring, so
When I think of the Weaver, I think of Hansel and Gretel. And just like, you know?
I mean that's fair. Yeah. But I think that would be yeah, that's what I'd want to do.
Hmm.
But
Oh, real quick before you have to go, I want to mention chapter 55, go back to it, because I love seeing this meme that's like Tamlin's like, oh my God, did they hurt you in the night court? And then the next slide is like, it's like when they're in the cabin in chapter 55 and they're using the paint. And every time I've seen so many of those, and every time it just gets me because I'm like, nope, she is completely fine.
this goes back to the Empire of Storms episode.
I
um
honestly think, I honestly think us talking about the whole Dorian thing is probably the most unhinged we've ever been in an episode, and it's so funny to me.
we could take a whole like whatever talking about just chapter 55, but I don't know if that is healthy.
I don't know if people would actually want that. Like, if they'd be like, that'd be
Some
so
people
entertaining.
do.
Okay, well, if you guys listen to this episode and you want a whole debrief, like dissecting 54 and 55, because we just like barely covered it.
Yeah.
We can do that.
We're gonna circle back. Because this is
Yeah,
episode 10, which is wild that we already have 10 episodes out.
that's crazy.
I know. So we'll circle back.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I want
Anyway.
to reread Mist and Fury, and then I'll just like mark the stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. You need to write down what you want to talk about with Fourth Wing too.
I know, which is a lot.
I know I
So,
remember it, but I don't. I mean, I know exactly what happened, but there are specifics that I don't remember.
yeah, even I'm like forgetting some things already, and I'm not even done with Iron Flame yet. So,
Yeah. Anyways, this was
anyways,
reading between the lines. Next week we're talking about A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then
hmm
we're gonna talk about Silver Flames, and then
yeah,
we're gonna talk about Fourth Wing.
yes.
And Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, we are going to have a special guest come and join us. If she
Yes.
still wants to after she listens to this, the unhingedness of our podcast.
No, this isn't even. This is nothing compared to the Empire of Storms, bro. It's nothing. I think we were on crack that day because oh my god.
Wasn't that the day that I was eating Chipotle?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Okay.
bye.
Bye.